Reading and reviewing indie books has become a passion of mine over many years and has helped me get through the many challenges that life can present. To me, there is nothing better than the escapism, the immersion, and even the magic that reading can be. As an indie author myself, I know the challenges and difficulties of finding book reviews, and so just like my dedication to writing, here I am doing my best to support words by fellow authors. Welcome to Talking Indie Books with Lee Hall, an opportunity for me to showcase some wonderful indie books I've been reading. For this special episode, which is part 2 of my celebration of Indie April, I will be showcasing some wonderful indie books I've read and enjoyed over the years, and an awesome indie book I've recently read. These titles in particular have been memorable for me, so let us dive into part 2 of a special Indie April episode of Talking Indie Books. The first book I'd like to mention is an indie title I discovered via Readsy Discovery in 2022, and over the years, Readsy Discovery has given me access to some brilliant and memorable indie books. Pearl Fields and the Oregon Meltdown by Drew Faraday is a memorable and unique indie book I discovered via Readsy Discovery. I say unique because Drew Faraday has created a story that reads like a transcript from a woman who is basically confessing all, while also telling an immersive story based in post-apocalyptic times. There's plenty of humour and meaningful moments as our narrator lays everything out in an attempt to use her story to find freedom, or at least clear her name. How she got there is what makes up most of the story, and more, which I found to be original and immersive. And so to quote my written review, "Stories of childhood, love, struggle, and life in apocalyptic times make up the experience that pulled me in from the start. The M virus and its fallout is where the majority of this story is set, but we only get snippets of that from Pearl, and the focus is more on her many experiences during and then after. It's almost as if she is in the room telling you about the various trials and tribulations of her life, and she's a fun character to be around, perhaps a little hardened by life, and her well-fleshed-out presence really puts you in the passenger seat of her ride." My rating for Pearl Fields and the Oregon Meltdown was 4 stars, and you can find my written review linked below. Next up, we have another indie title I read back in 2022, and it was memorable for many different reasons, including the use of setting and characters placed in a unique situation. I'm talking about House of Tigers by William Burton McCormick, where a blend of murder mystery and a family inheritance dilemma creates some wonderful tension. An inspector is sent to an oligarch family manor, where a sudden swarm of mosquitoes keeps everyone from leaving, creating a unique type of situation where nobody is safe. What begins as perhaps a family financial situation soon turns to something a little more bloody and sinister. And to quote my written review, with plenty of tension and page-turning mystery vibes, the setting, characters and pace are all on point here and pull everything together well to make for a fun, original reading experience. Of course, there are unexpected twists and revelations in a whodunit, who's still doing it scenario as events unfold with the story. My rating for House of Tigers was 5 stars, and you can find my written review linked below. And so, the final book I would like to mention is one of my most recent reviews, and is in the genre of noir crime thriller. Of course, I'm talking about Wake Up, I'm Death, a short story by Robert Michael Price. Now, the description and atmosphere are on point in this unique page-turning story, without chapter breaks. Robert Michael Price has put together an immersive and descriptive reading experience that follows a detective who is called late at night to attend the scene of a murder in the city of Blackwater Cape, where every corner seemed to fade into shadows that whispered secrets. Like I said, the description and atmosphere is what carries this story, and that quote is just an example of literally no word being wasted. To quote my recent written review, "Every word, sentence and phrase does a job of immersing the reader into a world that captures the moments where a murder investigation turns towards a chase. The evidence at the scene suggests something deeper and cryptic, making for a great shorter read. Wake Up, I'm Deaf really lived up to the noir crime genre, and so I have several favourite quotes. And here they are. Blackwater Cape lived up to its name. Darkness swallowed the street, the heavy fog rolling in off the sea. A steady drizzle slicked the pavement, transforming it into black glass that reflected the faint halos of the hazy streetlights. I wouldn't be caught dead occupying an apartment labelled with the dreaded Devil's Dozen. For a moment, the city below was revealed, a labyrinth of smoke, steel, and despair." My rating for Wake Up, I'm Deaf was 5 stars, and so you can find my written review linked below. And so, that wraps up this second part of a special Indie April edition of Talking Indie Books with Lee Hall. Indie authors are very much like small businesses and rely on the kind support of others to find more readers. Any support you can give an indie author will be very much appreciated. I'd like to thank you for joining me on this journey, and of course, if you're reading something right now, remember to leave a review. Peace out, rock and roll, and reading indie books.